Ekene lay in the shadows, barely conscious as the serpents cycled around him, their eyes gleaming with malice. Just when he thought the end had come, a voice, familiar yet faint, echoed through the darkness. It was Nina's voice, clear and filled with sorrow. But how could that be? She had vanished, giving her life to set him free. Yet here she was, calling to him. The serpents froze, their heads turning as if they too had heard her voice. A shimmering mist began to form in the center of the circle, slowly taking shape until Nina appeared, looking as she had on the night they wed, beautiful and sorrowful, with eyes that held an ancient sadness. Leave him, Nina commanded the serpents, her voice steady and fierce. This is not his fate. He does not belong to your clan. The largest of the serpents lighted forward, its eyes burning with anger. You dare defy us again? Nena, it hissed. You gave yourself to the elder's magic. Your bond with this human was severed. You no longer have the power to protect him. But Nena stood her ground, a strange energy radiating from her form. I may no longer be bound to the human world, but my love for Ekene is stronger than any curse or bond. If you want to take him, then you must take me as well. The serpents hissed, retreating slightly. They had not expected her spirit to be so powerful, nor her love so unbreakable. The leader of the clan let out a low menacing groan. Very well, Nena. If you insist on protecting him, then both of you shall be ours. With a sudden violent burst, the serpents lunged forward, their jaws wide. Ekene, still weak and disoriented, tried to rise, but his strength was gone. Nena knelt beside him, wrapping ethereal arms around him, shielding him with all she had. Just as the serpents closed in, the elder's voice echoed once more, louder and more forceful than before. Enough! A blinding light filled the cave, forcing the serpents back. The elder's form appeared, shimmering in the dark like a ghostly figure. His eyes bore into the serpents with fury. You have overstepped, he declared. Nena gave herself willingly, sacrificing everything for her love. Her spirit is not yours to claim. The serpents knelt, but they dared not to defy the elder. They slided back into the shadows, vanishing one by one until the cave was once silent. Weak and barely able to speak, looked up at the elder. Please, I don't want to lose her again. The elder studied them both, his expression softening. The power of love is strong, he murmured, but love in the spirit world comes with a price. Nena can return to you, but only as she is now, a spirit tied to this realm. She will remain with you, but never as human, never truly alive. Ekene's heart ached, but he nodded. If I can still be with her, even as she is, then I will accept it. The elder inclined his head, and with a wave of his hand, Nena's spirit grew brighter, her form becoming more solid, like a being caught between two worlds. Ekene, she whispered, reaching out to touch his face. Though her hand was cold, her touch felt familiar, comforting. They left the cave together, bound now by a love that defied life and death, forever entwined yet forever separated. As they returned to the world of the living, whispers followed them, tales of the man and his spirit bride, a love cursed yet unbreakable. But lurking in the shadows, the serpents watched, waiting, for they knew that while the bond between Ekene and Nnenna was strong, nothing could last forever, not even love that defied the laws of life and death. As Ekene and Nnenna walked out of the cave, hand in hand, they knew the life awaiting them was not ordinary. Nnenna, now a spirit, was invisible to all but Ekene, bound to him but never able to fully live by his side. Villagers who had once admired their love now whispered in fear, speaking of the man who walked alone, talking to someone unseen. Months passed, and though Ekene cherished every moment with Nnenna, a deep sadness hung over them. They were together, yet worlds apart, unable to touch, unable to share a life beyond. The weight of their love caught between the living and the dead grew heavy with each passing day. One evening, as they sat by the river where they had first met, Ekene noticed a shadow moving through the trees. His heart quickened, sensing the familiar cold presence of the serpent. He squeezed Nina's hands, though he could barely feel it. "They are here," he whispered, glancing around. "They've come back." From the shadows the serpents emerged, their eyes gleaming with a dark hunger. The largest one lighted forward, its voice like a hiss through the trees. "You have defied the natural order for too long. Ekene, love between a human and a spirit cannot last forever. It is time for Nnenna to return to us for good." Ekene stood, shielding Nnenna behind him. "No, she stays with me," he declared, his voice unwavering. "I'll never let her go." But Nnenna stepped forward, her face filled with sorrow. "Ekene, we cannot keep running from them," she said softly. "Our love has bound us, yes, but it has also kept us from peace. Perhaps it is time to go." Ekene's eyes filled with tears, shaking his head in denial. "No, Nnenna, I can't lose you again. I would rather die than be without you." The serpents closed in, surrounding them in a circle. The leader of the clan hissed, "If that is your choice, then it shall be granted." Before Ekene could react, the serpent struck. Nnenna let out a piercing scream, her spirit flickering as if it's being torn apart. In his desperation, Ekene reached out, gripping her ghostly hand with all his strength, pulling her closer as the serpents tried to drag her away. But something strange happened. As Ekene held onto Nnenna, a one radiant light began to glow between them. The strength of their love pushed back against the serpents, forcing them to retreat with hisses of fury. The light grew brighter and brighter until it filled the entire forest, blinding the serpents, who screeched and rattled, unable to withstand the purity of their bond. When the light faded, the serpents were gone. The forest was silent, filled with an air calm. Ekene looked down to see Nnenna, whole and solid, standing before him, her hand warm in his. But something was wrong. She looked at him with sadness and love, a single tear tracing down her cheek. "Ekene, my love," she whispered, "you set me free, but I must go." He shook his head, holding her tightly. "No, you are here. You are alive again." Nena smiled, her eyes brimming with unshed tears. "Only for a moment, you see. True love is sacrifice. You gave everything to be with me, and in doing so, you have set my soul free. I am no longer bound to the